RetroPL, supertraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. Here we are doing some deficit deadlifts just off of one mat. The point of a deficit deadlift is to have an increased range of motion, thus making the lift a little bit more difficult. This is Steve, who's very new with us and pretty new to powerlifting in general. And we got a lot of things to teach him, a lot of things to share with him. The key is, whenever you have somebody new that you're working with, is that you gotta be patient with them, and you have to figure out a way to get them to conform to what you're saying, because a lot of times they just want to do what they're comfortable with, and you want them to buy into everything you're saying so they can make progress in the fastest way possible. At the same time, you have to be smart enough as a coach and a trainer to listen to them and to apply some of the things they're saying and incorporating some of the things they're saying into how you set up their training routine. You got Chris Ramos going here. He's been using straps a lot lately. See, Chris tends to do a lot of weird stuff with his head, and I help him fix it, but then he screws it all up again later on. I'm not sure what this guy's name is. One of our newer lifters. There's Treston Scholl, obviously. Quite the handsome man, isn't he? I was really struggling on this day. I kind of pulled something in my lat early in the training session, and then I tweaked something in my ass. I had all kinds of problems going on. But anyway, the main problem for me was I just didn't warm up enough, and I couldn't quite get into the positions that I wanted to. There's Silent Mike working on trying to get a little more leg drive. And it looks like he's achieving that now. Mr. Robot pulls from both sides of the plate. There's Marcus. Typically, on these kind of max lifts, we'll have a rep in mind, the amount of reps we're going to do. And usually everybody just kind of follows along. So today, a lot of guys, you're seeing a lot of doubles being done, a lot of triples. My goal was to do a heavy triple. Then I faded out later on. I actually ended up smacking this big mongrel right here in the back because his form was a little bit off on one of his pulls that he actually missed. I thought we got footage of that, but I'm not quite sure. I smacked him on the back and helped him to correct his form, and then he was able to lock out the lift. But sometimes, smacking, you hear the term, proprioception, or there's some other terms out there you might have heard of, might be familiar with, kinesthetic awareness. Those types of things basically are kind of ways of basically telling your body, what muscle to fire, how to fire it. And a lot of times the best thing to do for that is just to hit somebody. You're telling somebody to try to, fire their tricep, is smack them in the back of the arm, or even pinch the back of their arm, and they're going to get the picture a lot better than you just telling them, where they're supposed to feel it and what they're supposed to be doing. Tell them to fire their hips, give them a good old smack on the ass. Tell them to arch up, you can give them a good old smack on the mid to upper back. Just be careful who you smack. You can't hit ladies, unfortunately. But you have to, as a coach, you have to be able to recognize these imperfections that are going on with particular lifters. You can see there I was really struggling. Chest was down just way too much. Just couldn't squat into it. Sometimes I'm just that way. Sometimes my hips are just a limiting factor, and I can't quite get in position. Unfortunately, as a coach, there's really no way of being able to assess these faulty patterns and things of that nature until, from what I've seen and what I know, until you've had about 10 years of experience. You need to have about a decade under your belt before you can really start to determine these things and Here's this big mongrel here. See, that lift goes a little shady. That's the one after I smacked him in the back. Because the one before that, he actually missed, I believe. Just couldn't quite lock it out. There's Silent Mike going. Good job getting his shoulders not just like up, but he also kind of pulled him back a little bit right before he went. That's sometimes a difficult thing to do. Robot's been pulling well lately. This is 605. I believe I ended up doing 2 sets of 2 at this weight. And I would say that my form on this set is probably the best it got all day, which is not good. And here goes Torta. Now watch what he does with his head. Whip. Too much head movement. Drives the knees too far forward and makes it hard to get that weight up. Now if he didn't have straps on, that weight would have never went. But he's able to kind of tough it out and squeeze out a couple reps there. You know, there are some lifters that yank on the bar, and they do so with a lot of success. But you want to try to pull the weight off the floor a little bit more methodical, so you don't pull yourself out of position. If you can yank the bar and still stay in position, then fuck me, go for it. You know, it's a matter of what you can get to work for yourself. But in my experience, after seeing many lifters over the years, it's pretty rare to be able to make that kind of thing work. Here's Silent Mike using the idiot-proof Versa grips. We'll have to do a little commercially type thing for them because these are some great straps. We're not advertising them because they gave them to us for free or anything. I purchased these, but I like to sometimes share great products with you guys. Those of you who have trouble trying to figure out how the hell to use straps, these are a great solution to that. I would say possibly, I'm not quite sure yet, but they feel very strong. I'd say it's possible that they're maybe not quite as strong as lifting straps, but they do the job, they do the trick. It's one roll forward, and you're all set, you're locked in, so it just makes your life a lot easier. This is some assistance work we're hitting up. This is a block pull. Block pull helps in many ways. Some people think it's a lockout movement. It could be viewed as that, but it's also training your lower back because it kind of takes the leg drive out of there a little bit. And through training your lower back and making your lower back more strongerist, you are going to make your pull off the floor stronger. Sounds weird, I know, but when you get stronger, things get easier. Tristan Scholl is not afraid to get close. He's got that camo hat on it. I don't think Mike can see him. So he's able just to play with himself right in front of Mike, and Mike doesn't even notice. Or maybe Tristan's always doing that, and Mike just doesn't even care. Tristan's got the sidewards hat going, looking dope as a mofo. And look at that, showing off to the crowd, showing off to the ladies. He's married, ladies, so you can forget about that. Here I am going with some half-naked deadlifts. This is really not for anything other than to show people that I'm fucking jacked and tan. Marcus is looking at my ass. I don't know what's going on there. And that is it from supertraining.tv.